a continuation of last week's conversation, the market just gets more and more interesting, right? I don't know if MVP got a lot more interesting. We probably got more clarity, if anything. The Tua kind of red herring or potential to be a candidate, I guess, adds a little complexity. But really, this was just like, to me, this was like Josh Allen removing himself essentially from the MVP race. It's really like all that happened yesterday in this market. Now, Jalen Hurts hasn't played a game yet. They play tonight against Washington. So if we want to talk like they're going to win the game, they're an 11-point favorite. They can definitely lose. Washington could be a very feisty underdog in the game. Maybe Washington wins, but if Philadelphia wins and continues to go undefeated, I mean, this still seems like a market dominated by two players, right? Which is what we talked about last week. We talked about the idea of, Mahomes basically having better numbers, but what if Jalen Hurts doesn't lose? And I still think that's where despite the craziest game ever and a game that is going to affect every market, and it affects it in one game, like huge prices become zero, like Jefferson Offensive Player of the Year. And it's just so hard to get, like, you can't see these things coming sometimes, and then they happen, and you just have to react and scramble as much as you can in terms of a betting standpoint. Like, you can't see that stuff coming. I mean, it was a weather game against the best team in the league, and like, look what you got. And so just something really, really kind of a shock to the system. From an MVP standpoint, yeah, Mahomes is really likely to win, but Hurts is also really likely to win. And ultimately, like, the records of those two teams will probably end up dictating which one wins. We don't have to play out all the permutations. We can do that on Thursday. Obviously, my contention would still be if Jalen Hurts goes undefeated or has one loss, and Patrick Mahomes has one more loss than he has right now, which would be 3. So there's like a 2-game gap between the two of them. I still think it's really likely that Jalen Hurts will win the MVP award. Now, you need that. The Eagles could also lose 2 or 3 times. The Chiefs could win out. They're very good. So it doesn't have to play out this way. It's still going to be Jalen Hurts like a good amount, and then it's going to be Patrick Mahomes a lot. And one of the other reasons for that is that if the Bills, obviously because the Bills lost again, and that's back-to-back losses for the Bills, it removes like one of the obstacles to Mahomes winning, which is that he wouldn't have been the 1 seed in his own conference. The Bills would have been. And so it's like, all right, well, like, if they're like the 2 or the 3, and Baltimore could still get in the mix here too, then it's like a little tougher.
Baltimore's going to be favored in every game down the stretch, also,
Yep.
Most likely, or like really close to it at the very least.
Right. And so is Philadelphia, with the exception maybe of the Week 16 game against Dallas. So did we learn a lot about MVP? I think we learned that Josh Allen is most likely removed from the conversation, or very unlikely to win, because it's kind of like his path to victory was like 1 seed and really good numbers. Now it seems more likely that Mahomes will have better numbers than him and Jalen Hurts will have a better record. So you're not going to win the record argument and you're not going to win the number argument. You're going to be second in both and you're going to win? That seems like pretty unlikely in that situation.